Hey guys, here we are with another day in the Austere August Midnight Stag Challenge. In honor of, or to participate in Austere August, I'm using the same gear all month long. And one of the things that does is it really lets you fine tune to a certain soap base if you're interested in that, to play around with different processes, to just really refine your technique. In past years, I've done it with MDC to actually do usage tests to see how long that huge tub is actually going to last. And my results from my kind of usage, it's about 3 years or more. And so that's quite an economical soap when you divide out how long you're going to be able to use it. I also discovered I didn't really like the lather that it gave me very much. But with Chiseled Face Midnight Stag, I'm just such a huge fan of the scent that I love using it. Stephen Joyner is the sponsor with his Dogwood Handcrafts business of the Midnight Stag Challenge during this month. Other side challenges include Mammoth Soaps. There's one where you use a Mammoth soap all month. There's another one where you are using a Gem single edge razor all month. There's another one where you're shaving unscented, no scented products at all month. What a drag, right? Anyway, that's just a little recap of some of the Austere August things going on. And using this boar brush, I just wanted to put some more uses on it. And it is growing, but slowly, very slowly, it's changing. But lucky for me, it's starting out as pretty comfy at the beginning of the month, and prior to that, I was enjoying already using it, and so it can really only get better from here. Omega Boar Knot, Faux Jade from Connaught Shaving, 011842 is the model for this one, and I've had him soaking in the water for several minutes. Karve Christopher Bradley razor with solid bar B base plate and 3¼ inch handle. I've figured out is just my perfect handle length. At first, when I bought my first Karve with the normal handle, this is the Gladius. With the normal handle, they only had ½ inch increments, and so I bought the 3 inch at first, but it was too short, so I bought the 3½ and while it looked too long visually, it was nicely balanced. It put my fingers at a good point, and so I did enjoy using it. And then when I heard them make a 3¼ inch, I went ahead and grabbed that up, and sure enough, that was just that little Goldilocks length that had both the look that I wanted, but also the balance that I wanted to. We also have other software by Chiseled Face, Midnight Stag, the Splash, and that is a mentholated alcohol-based splash, and then the EDP, the cologne. I'm going to open up the razor here, and we will take the Nacet blade and put it on there. Same Nacet I've been using for forever and a day. And this count looks like 434. Looks like that's the count for today. And I think I did the math. I got a little spreadsheet and mapped out the days, and it looks like on around September 10th, if I wanted to keep going to 450, I believe around there, 10th or 12th or something like that, that would put me at 450. A nice round number, because when I do talk about the razor blade, when I do talk on different threads, and when people obviously ask, not me, but just around in the community, how long does the blades last? It's always fun to have a nice round number to put down. So I may continue after Austere August with a few more days just to get to a nice round number. Or 444. That's kind of a neat number. I could do that one. All right, let's continue using the lather bowl, the Jello mold, vintage Jello mold that I have picked up within the last several days, and I'm using my basin style setup here without a sink. Get my face wet now. I've done a few face lathers this month. I have done some bowl lathers with decreasing load times, because as you continue using a soap over and over with concurrent uses, then you've got some resident moisture there that helps you to load soap for the next day. And that's different if you set it aside. Now, I've made that remark many times during this month, but that's just to show that yesterday when I loaded for 3 seconds, just 3 seconds, and ended up with more than 4 passes of nice lather, that's why. We got some resident moisture in there. All right, let's do the same thing today. Let's let today just be a, can we repeat the 3 seconds with the same results? Let's have repeatable results here. Do I want to even try 2 seconds tomorrow? Let's see, but we'll try 3 seconds today. As usual, I'm going to shake most of the water out of my brush. You can leave some in if you want kind of a shortcut with your lather. All right, so 3 seconds. And it's such a short time, I have to be very, I have to watch the clock very carefully. Okay, so 1001, 1002. Ah, dang it! I think I ended up getting 3 right. I was counting too slowly, but I think I ended up with 3 seconds. Look at that. There's just virtually nothing on the thing here. Now, what I have been doing is sweeping the liquid excess into the bowl so that there's not any liquid excess on the top. Sometimes I don't do that at all. I don't worry about it. I just leave that excess on there for the next time. And so in a sense, it's a little bit longer than 3 seconds. Now I'm curious, are we going to end up with a good bit of lather right now? Let's just try it out and see. Already, we're starting to get it to froth up like that. And let me tilt you down. Look at that, we haven't added any water in yet. That's definitely less lather, less early lather than, you know, when I load for 8 seconds, of course, but that's as it should be. Now, if you're ever having trouble with a soap, one of the things I recommend is, you know, to get a bowl and do what I'm doing here. Notice I'm not adding any water yet. What I'm doing is I'm working the soap that got picked up by the brush tips, and I'm working that into the water that's in the brush, and that's all I'm doing right now. And look at that, it's increasing more. There are a few soaps out there that don't really like to have water added too quickly. And so sometimes when you're having trouble, it might be because you're adding water right away when you might need to stabilize your everything first. And see, right now, as we keep mixing, then the wetness that was in the brush from the soaking in the water and stuff is combining with the soap that we picked up that's on the tips, and it's all starting to be a homogeneous mixture here. See, all that you see right there is from, look at all that, it's from just that little bit of soap that was picked up on the tips combined with the water, and that is why 3 seconds is still giving me a good bit of lather. It is kind of mystifying sometimes. Now that it's pretty stable, let's go ahead and just, you know, for grins, I'm going to add the 15 milliliters that I added yesterday. And we'll see if that same amount of water, normally I don't prescribe a certain amount of water, I just slowly add water until it looks right. But why don't we just try something different today and just put in those 15 seconds and see what happens. 15 milliliters. And so what we'll do is we'll just work that extra water throughout the lather. Three seconds of lather. Can you believe that? 3 seconds of loading. That's what I meant to say. And that's definitely going to be plenty to get the job done. How about that? You almost couldn't see it on the tips of the brush. And I give the brush a very good rinse after each shave so there's no residual soap that's on the brush. I've generally gotten pretty good at keeping that clanking down to a minimum. We've got this fluting here that puts the surface, the wall of the bowl kind of close to the way the brush rotates and moves around. And I generally am only hitting it when I'm trying to kind of dig into the corners to circulate the lather around to get a good mixture. You know, and this is not a small amount of soap. Look at the small amount of lather. Look at this. 3 seconds of loading. And we have plenty of lather for 3 passes and more. How about that? Let's just go ahead and use it. Have to run this one a little drier than I usually do, and so hopefully I didn't take it too far in the hydration department. Get my face wet again. Remove any excess because I know I'm not too dry here. If anything, I'm too wet, and so I'm not going to want any excess moisture. At least I think I'm not going to be too dry. Feels nice on the face. Brush tips. Earlier I did a face lather and I did feel kind of the scritchiness of the tips on this brush, and that's not something I usually feel with this kind of my normal bowl lather. Maybe because I was just doing so much more face work, and the concentrate of the lather there was probably causing my skin to dry out a little more, not as moist, not as hydrated. Moist is such a funny word. And yeah, when you're mixing here, you definitely often empty the inside of some brushes, and that's okay, as long as you can, you know, roll around in what's on the outside of the brush. And see, we're not empty at all here. We just do a bit of rolling, mix it up. It keeps feeling nice on my face, and so I know I'm not too wet here. But lather is cheap, so if you want to dip back in there, put a little bit more on your face, then go for it. See, now we have plenty to roll around here. And now we'll just bring her to a halt and lay down a nice kind of even lather layer there. Feels good on my face. I'm looking forward to playing around with my badger brushes. After the Austere August is done, I sure do miss them. I love boar brushes. I love the potential they offer, the heritage in shaving that they offer, the value that they offer. I mean, come on. There are some of these Smogs and Zeniths and those kind of things that are under 20 bucks, between around $15, $12. And they would be nice little brushes once you put a bunch of uses on them. Okay, we're ready to go here. So we're looking at a 24-hour growth, so this is more normal. I was playing catch up for a little while there, and so my shaves were a little on the short side because I had done several shaves this month where they were on the long side, where I had a day and a half of growth that I was having to deal with, and the Nacet does not like that at this age. So we're dealing with a lightly tuggy experience on this first pass. Not at all painful. And with the grain, of course. Boy, yeah, that would not be fun if I did this one against the grain. Ooh, boy, no sir. All right, rinse. And I've played around with this soap quite a lot, as you can imagine, and I just haven't really managed to get it any more creamy than this without also being too dry. So I would put Sterling's soap base a little bit above, this one in performance. But what I always say about Chiseled Face is where they excel is these amazing scents, and it's still a good soap base. Gets the job done, nice and slick, very flexible in terms of hydration. You don't have to get it exactly right. It's not super picky. And it's got these amazing scents to go with it. Now this pass here is comfortable. We're not doing a whole lot of tugging. I don't feel like I'm cutting, a lot of hairs down like you do when you have a newer blade. But I'm working on keeping my strokes very light so that we still kind of get a maximum cut. And then what we're doing is just gradually reducing the beard. Looking forward to using my new Pearl Flexi. They sent me a replacement from the 5th generation one that I had first. And what I got was a 7th generation. The gap looks pretty uniform. And so I'm going to have fun trying that one out. I've got this old Wizamet aluminum razor that I got off eBay even before Austere August began, and I forgot all about it. I need to remember to use that guy. He's hidden somewhere. I need to find him and use him. Now, even more comfortable here. I can tell that because the feel here is different. I know that previous pass did advance the cause. And in a way, if you're a big fan of this type of shaving, if you just really enjoy the experience, then why not add another pass to your, or at least, is it a big deal if you add another pass to your routine? Now it's the 3rd pass, and so here's the path of my hair growth right there, down that track. And so the first couple of passes, I will do a cross grain like this. Now I will do a cross grain from the other direction. And I do, because if I do a cross grain right here, then my neck is round, it's concave right there. And so what do I do to address that concave part? I'll twist and tilt my razor a little bit so that it gets deeper into that concave part. And again, keeping a very light touch. And we'll do a more against the grain aspect to that. And hey, if you find a little blob of lather on your face, you can just put it there and do another little bit. So yeah, I believe I pretty much nailed this lather to be as hydrated as I want it to be. It's still got a pretty creamy feel to it, not really between the fingers per se, but not on the face. You know, it feels good in the brush. And that's really more important to me than the finger feel. But it still is providing wonderful slickness and excellent hydration for my skin, good protection. And so those are my priorities. And so now we just laid down the 4th pass of lather, and with those 3 seconds of loading, we've still got plenty. We've still got plenty. And so with this, I didn't actually mean to lather up my cheeks. I just kind of have it. But I'll do that against the grain pass right here as the kind of the main focus of this one. So this will just be kind of a cleanup, just a quick pick up maybe a few strays, a little slant action as well. Then we'll do the against the grain part. A little tilt to the razor is what kind of helps it to work well for me right here, and then tilt the other way as I do this area here. Kind of come at it like a V shape. And there we go. And the face, my face feels nice. It feels healthy, clean. There's a light feeling of hydration and slickness. So I'm a happy camper. Well, here's what this Omega Boar brush looks like after a good towel stropping, a good rinsing out. It hasn't really changed very much from the start of the month. And maybe that's good, because once it does really start to split, then maybe it'll be stable and strong for a nice long time. So maybe a stubborn start could be a good thing, but it is, I do wish it would be quicker, at least for this point, because with this many shaves on it, I think it's got 50 or 60 shaves on it. If it were a Samog, I would definitely be seeing a lot more split tips. But it's just a different type of bristle that they use, and we'll just wait and be patient. It's enjoyable right now, and so it's just one of those things where it'll get better as we go. And now a lot of people ask the question on the forums, how long do you leave your soap uncapped? Do you just seal it up right after you use it? Is that moisture then going to hurt the soap? Will it cause bacteria to develop, that sort of thing? And I think you should do whatever you're comfortable with. I think there have been cases where bacteria has developed in a soap, but it seems like most of those cases that other people have reported, it was traced back really to manufacturing formulation problems in the soap, and not the fact that you had it capped up moist. And so I don't really worry about it too much. But what I end up doing, and this is very practical, is I leave it open just during my shave. And then at the end of the shave, I close it down, because some people choose to take it the more extreme route. They'll uncap it and leave it sitting there to dry out until the next shave. Now, if you're using the same tub, then that essentially means you leave it open on your bathroom shelf or whatever forever, right, until it's gone. And that's your prerogative. You do you, right? But what I think that does is it releases a lot of the scent, and I don't like that. And so I would rather cap it up at the end of my shave, preserving the scent. And I've had soap sit on the shelf with moisture for years, and I haven't had a single problem ever. And so I just don't have a problem with this mentally or anything. Because after all, this is a soap, and it's notoriously a horrible environment for bacteria to grow because it is, after all, a soap. There are some soaps who have a larger quantity of unsaponified fats, fats that were not turned into soap because they were intentionally over-fatted. And so a lot of the fats did get turned into the soap because of the lye or whatever else was added. But then they are intentionally put in there to be moisturizers and things like that. Those can kind of go rancid, that sort of thing. But, then you can usually tell by the smell or the look or something like that. But usually it doesn't hurt the performance of the soap, has been my experience, even in that case. So my answer is do whatever you feel like. If you're extra conscientious about it, then it may just help your mind to know that you just leave it open for quite a while, or maybe leave it vented or something like that. But under normal circumstances, I think it's great just to cap it up because I want to preserve that scent. Cap it up at the end of the shave. And as a matter of fact, sometimes with some of those hard soaps, it's really good to leave a little bit of moisture in there, because then it soaks through that hard puck. In the case of Mitchell's wool fat, it will often cause the puck to expand into the container. And that's a good thing. And so sometimes it's a beneficial thing anyway. All right, so very good. And we will I already rinsed out the razor, took it apart, dried the pieces. I dried the blade very carefully, tapping it, that sort of thing, safely and all that. Drying the edges maybe, or drying the blade, and therefore the edges could be something that really helps it to go a long way, because you're preventing maybe some kind of micro erosion on the edge. So we put another one, and next time it'll be 435, it looks like. All right. And we're about to put on our splash and EDP. So it was a 3-second load with the 15 milliliters of water. And now we go to the splash. A splash that is scented is really kind of optional if you're doing a cologne right after, right? But this one does offer some skin goodies like calendula and witch hazel, aloe, that sort of thing. So it's got face helpy stuff as well as the scent. Then there are about 3 days in August that are in the 5th week, and so we'll be doing 10 total sprays for those. So 4 total sprays since we're in the 4th week of August. We'll do 2 there, and then 3 on each arm, because I did discover that I'm reacting slightly on the tender part of my forearm there to the cologne. And it's great. I just there's a cloud of it now, and then I get to smell it on my arm for a dozen hours after the shave. So I still am not tired of it. Really enjoying it. Well, there we go. So we were able to easily reproduce the same lather as yesterday. 6 or 7 passes of lather from just 3 seconds of loading. It is concurrent use, so that does make a difference. But very, very happy with that, and happy with the lather. It wasn't too wet. And there, as you can see, if I ever needed it to just kind of feel a little bit more puffy, I just went back in and grabbed some more lather from the bowl, and I had plenty. And I did a 4-pass shave. So there we go. Conservative bowl lathering is definitely a conservative user of soap. It can really help you if you need to make your soap go a long way. All right, guys, take care, and I sure hope there's something in this video to help you out. Have a good night.